Okay, if you're building anything with AI, you know this pain, you know it deep in your bones. Connecting your app to every single database, every API, every tool, it's just a mountain of custom code. It is a constant, fragmented mess. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? For every new tool you want your AI to use, whether it's something common like Google Drive or Slack or your own internal database, you're back to square one, building a whole new integration from scratch. It is so inefficient, and it just grinds innovation to a halt. But imagine this for a second. What if you could just plug in any AI application into any tool, and it would just work? No custom drivers, no fiddling with unique connectors. That is the huge promise of a new open standard called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. All right, let's really get into what this is all about. To really get why MCP is such a big deal, we first need to take a hard look at the problem it's trying to solve. And honestly, it's the absolute chaos of AI integrations as they exist today. This right here, this is the core of the frustration. I mean, just think about it. You've got literally thousands of developers all writing the exact same code just to connect to something like Slack. And vendor lock-in, it's a huge problem. You build your whole tool set for one AI provider, but then if you want to switch, well, good luck. You're stuck rewriting everything. And every single one of these one-off integrations handles security and authentication differently, which is just a nightmare waiting to happen. It's a massive, massive duplication of effort across the entire industry. So, how do we fix this disaster? Well, this brings us to the really elegant solution, this whole idea of a USB for AI. At its heart, MCP is really just an open-source rulebook. That's it. It defines a single, standard way for an AI application, which we'll call a client, to talk to any external tool or data source, which we'll call a server. This visual just makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way, this tangled web, this spaghetti monster, where every app needs its own direct custom line to every single service. But on the right, with MCP, it's clean, it's simple. The protocol acts like a universal adapter. Any client that speaks MCP can connect to any server that also speaks MCP. It's really that simple.
Okay, so how does this protocol actually work? What's the magic behind it? Well, it all comes down to 4 pretty simple fundamental building blocks.
Just 4. Seriously, the entire power of this universal protocol is built on just 4 core concepts, or primitives. And these 4 ideas cover basically everything an AI would ever need to do to interact with the outside world. Let's break them down. Okay, so getting these 4 is the key. First up, you have resources. These give the AI a standard way to read data, like files or database entries. Second, you have tools. These are the actions the AI can take, things like send an email or create a ticket. Third, there are prompts, which are basically reusable templates that make sure workflows are consistent. And finally, number 4 is sampling. This lets the server ask the AI client to think or generate some text. So let's use a GitHub server as an example. Resources would let the AI read a list of bug reports. A tool would let it act by creating a new ticket in Jira. A prompt would help it format that ticket correctly every single time. And sampling would let it think about and generate a good summary of those bug reports. So, read, act, format, and think. That's the whole foundation.
All right, so that's the what and the how. But let's get to the most important part, right? Why should you, as a developer, an architect, a team lead, why should you actually care about any of this?
Well, for individual developers, the benefits are immediate and huge. Imagine you build an MCP server for GitHub just one time. Now, any MCP-compatible app, whether it's a desktop assistant, an IDE plugin, or some future tool we can't even imagine yet, can use that server instantly. No more custom APIs. Plus, you can tap into this growing ecosystem of open-source servers that other people have already built. You don't have to write that boring boilerplate code ever again.
And for teams and enterprises, this is where it gets really strategic. Security is a massive win. You centralize all your authentication and permissions in the MCP server, which means the AI model never even sees your secret API keys. This creates a really clear boundary for governance and for auditing. And that vendor flexibility we talked about, it becomes a reality. You can swap out your AI provider from, say, one company to another without having to rebuild your entire tool integration stack from the ground up.
Then, if we zoom all the way out, this could literally transform the entire AI ecosystem. It creates true interoperability, which lets developers focus on building amazing new capabilities instead of just reinventing the integration plumbing over and over. And because it's an open standard, it's not controlled by any single company. That fosters a healthy market where the best tools and clients can win. And you get these powerful network effects where more servers attract more clients, which in turn encourages people to build even more servers.
And listen, this isn't just some theoretical idea on a whiteboard. MCP is already gaining traction and showing us what a more connected, more powerful AI future is going to look like. We're already seeing this stuff in action. Reference clients are popping up with built-in support. The open source community is moving fast, building servers for huge services like GitHub, Slack, and Postgre. We're seeing the first IDE integrations, and big companies are actively piloting MCP to give secure access to their own internal tools. The momentum is definitely real.
So let's just put this all side by side for a second. This comparison really shows why MCP is such a potential game changer. Those custom one-off integrations give you zero portability, inconsistent security, and take a ton of effort. Now, provider-specific function calling is a step up for sure, but you're still locked into that one provider's world. MCP is the only approach here that delivers high portability, standardized security, and a low development effort because of all that reusability. It's built for a world where there are many clients and many tools.
So this brings us to the final really big question. Just like USB unified how we connect devices and HTTP unified the web, MCP has the ambition to become that single, universal standard for connecting AI to the entire world of data and tools. The pieces are falling into place, but its ultimate success, that's going to depend on the community that builds around it. So will one protocol truly connect all of AI? That is the future we're all watching unfold right now.